Hello, I'm Celeste Hackett. I'm a certified hypnotist and a certified hypnosis instructor. I'd like to answer some questions you probably have about hypnosis. A lot needs to be explained about hypnosis because there are a lot of misconceptions about hypnotism and its uses. For instance, fiction writers in Hollywood have a lot of fun entertaining us with ways that hypnosis can't be used. But how can hypnosis be used? How does the mind work? This model of the mind is one that hypnotists and psychologists use to teach about hypnosis: conscious mind, critical factor, subconscious mind, and unconscious mind. The mind has four basic layers: the conscious mind, the critical factor, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. Each part of the mind has certain responsibilities or jobs to do, and each level of the mind has a protective function. So even when you're in deep hypnosis, you'll always be safe because each part of the mind works to make sure of that. In fact, protecting you is top priority of each level of your mind. Let's start to really understand the mind with the unconscious mind. Medical professionals often refer to this part of the mind as the autonomic nervous system. Hypnotists think of this as the body's consciousness. It's the essential knowing of how to work your body. Every baby is born with a body that operates automatically on instinct. This inner knowing of how to operate the body is the unconscious mind. For instance, the unconscious mind is responsible for heartbeat, goosebumps, respiration, blushing, blinking, salivation, blood flow, which is nice because you don't have to consciously think about doing those things all the time. Here's a cool fact about the unconscious mind. It can change and learn. Do you remember in high school learning about Dr. Ivan Pavlov and his famous experiment with dogs? Dr. Pavlov showed that when we pair a stimuli with some other occurrence that the unconscious mind can actually learn. For example, when Dr. Pavlov rang the bell and then gave the dog a morsel of food, the dog would salivate. After doing that several times, just hearing the bell ring would cause the dog to salivate. That shows that the unconscious mind can learn because salivation is controlled by the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind can learn not only through this kind of conditioning, but also through hypnosis. For example, there have been many cases when someone is suffering from migraines or blushing too much, and through hypnosis techniques, hypnotists have been able to re-educate the unconscious mind and have it rid itself of the pain or an excessive blushing response. Another thing that the unconscious mind controls is your feelings. When an emotion is generated, you'll get a physical sensation. For instance, most people love to feel happy, and most of us don't really like to feel sad or angry. When emotions are felt in the body, we call these feelings. The unconscious part of you also has a protective part to it. No matter where you are, what you're doing or thinking, this amazing part of the mind is watching out for you. It does that with things like constantly fighting off infection inside your body and through knee-jerk reactions such as automatically just slamming on the brakes when a dog runs out in front of your car, or blinking or ducking when a ball or something comes towards your face. Now for the amazing subconscious mind. Psychologists have a special name for the subconscious mind when it is first developing. They call it tabula rasa, which means blank slate. That's because when this part of your mind is created, it starts out that way, blank or empty. And then you go through your life and you get older and you begin to have experiences, and then the subconscious mind records them. All of them. The subconscious mind stores all of your memories, emotions from the memories, habits, behaviors, beliefs. Its storage capacity is incredible. It's unlimited. The subconscious mind is the primary work area for the professional hypnotist as he or she uses their expertise to help to affect change in clients. With these life experiences you have, and all of the beliefs and habits that are formed, you begin to develop a certain consistent way of being, talking, acting, thinking, reacting to people, things, and circumstances. This way of being makes up who you are, your unique personality. Once all of these beliefs and habits make up your personality, the subconscious mind then begins to do something very interesting. It begins to resist change. This resistance is kind of good because you'll have a particular personality and you'll behave consistently. The bad news is when you really want to make changes, it's really difficult. If you want to make changes, you're going to either have to have a lot of consistent experiences drawn out over time, which could take a very long time, or you can use hypnosis for immediate change. That's right. Hypnosis can have immediate effect upon the subconscious mind and on your life. The subconscious mind is also the part that generates your emotions. Your beliefs and experiences automatically cause an emotional response within you. For example, if you believe it's dangerous to climb trees, and then you find yourself climbing a tree for some reason, maybe to trim it, the subconscious mind will generate fear within you. And if you believe people should treat each other fairly, and you feel like you've been treated unfairly, the subconscious mind will generate anger. And you'll feel, via the unconscious mind in your body, the feeling of being angry. One of the most exciting things about the subconscious mind is that its storage space and its ability to store information is unlimited, like I was saying earlier. So unless there's brain damage or disease, you can always learn something new. And that new information will be stored in the subconscious mind where it's always available. Have you ever heard someone who is 80 or 90 years old talk about when they were young? Man, that information is still there, even upon decades and decades of time passing. And with hypnosis, it's even easier to access this wonderful database. Also, the subconscious mind protects you. It protects you against known dangers and motivates you to fulfill your needs. That's where emotions come in. Emotions like anger, sadness, fear, guilt, they all feel really uncomfortable and they motivate you to do something so you feel better. This is the wisdom of the subconscious mind. For instance, if you know doing something is dangerous, the subconscious mind will cause the emotion of fear that will motivate you to take measure to be sure you're safe. By the way, there's a great book out there called The Secret Language of Feelings by Banyan that I recommend you read. Now, let's look at the conscious mind here. The conscious mind is the part of your mind you are using to focus right now. For instance, right now, you're looking at this video screen, you're thinking to yourself, what the heck is she saying? But you could tell me something about the past, and the conscious mind would then kind of refocus to the past. And you could tell me about something in the future, and you'd start thinking about the future still while using the conscious mind. Also, the conscious mind is really good at solving problems and uses your experiences to look at a situation and come up with an answer. For example, if you were thinking about how to get to, say, the grocery store, to church, and to the hairdresser in the most direct way or the fastest way, you'd be using the conscious mind to do some analysis, some analytical thinking, and come up with the best route. One of the other interesting things about the conscious mind is that its storage capacity, unlike the subconscious mind, is very limited. There's a lot of scientific research that shows this. In fact, most people are really surprised to find that that old conscious mind can't hold very much, only about 7 to 9 bits of information at any time. This is why trying consciously to make a big decision is pretty tough. To remember to carry out all you need to do, it just often fails because the conscious mind can only hold 7 to 9 bits of information. Hypnosis can help you access the subconscious mind to make changes in your life that the conscious mind just really doesn't have the power to do. You've experienced this when you've tried to make changes on your own using the conscious mind. For instance, maybe you decided you would remember to be more patient with the kids in the morning on school days, but then you found yourself coming unglued when little Johnny once again could not find his shoes. You really meant to remember to slow down and speak softer and be more patient, but with so many other things that you were trying to remember and keep track of, you just slid back into old subconscious programming. To make change fast and make permanent change, hypnosis is truly the best tool. Hypnosis allows you to go in and work with this greater database of who you are in the subconscious mind, affecting those habits, old emotional baggage and beliefs too, especially those limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. Oh, and yes, the conscious mind also has a protective function. It's always protecting you against perceived danger based upon what is rational and analytical. Now, there is another part of the mind that if you're like most people, you may have never heard of, and it is called the critical factor. The critical factor is a comparing mechanism, and it has a very important significance to hypnosis. As information comes into your conscious mind through the senses, That information has to go through the critical factor before it can become a belief or habit in the subconscious mind's catalog of information. The critical factor is the reason why it's hard for you to change limiting beliefs on your own. When that new information you try to take on comes in, the critical factor compares it with what's already in the subconscious mind. Now, if it matches what's already in there, especially in the area of beliefs and habits, it instantly goes in easily and reinforces what already exists. Those beliefs, those habits become even stronger in your life. But if some new bit of information comes in and it doesn't match what's in there, it just goes into a little side folder titled Things You Know About but Don't Really Affect You. Now, for a quick bit of general information about hypnosis. According to the U.S. government, hypnosis is defined as, number one, the bypass of the critical factor, and number two, acceptance of acceptable selective thinking. An example of that would simply be that when information comes in, hypnosis allows it to bypass this comparing mechanism of the critical factor. Then hypnosis allows this new and better information to go right into the subconscious mind so these new ideas can affect your thinking in a positive way that you're happy with, and so that you can make powerful change very quickly using hypnosis. By the way, if you ever do not like the information given to you by a hypnotist, it will be rejected. The critical factor, level of the mind, will reject it. It's all about protection. Hypnosis is not sleep. If your hypnotist uses the word sleep, it's just your cue to close your eyes and go as deeply relaxed as you can, as quickly as you can. But don't go to sleep. If you do, your hypnotist will have to emerge you and start all over, and that can be frustrating to both of you. So remember, when a hypnotist says sleep, all it means is go deeply relaxed. Hypnosis is a normal state in human beings that happens often several times right through the day. There are two ways to go into hypnosis. One is naturally and automatically, and the second way is by being guided by a person trained in hypnosis. Naturally occurring hypnosis. Sounds strange, huh? I guess that at least once in your life, you've pulled into the driveway and realized you didn't consciously remember driving for part of the drive home. But there you are, safe and sound. While you were daydreaming about something else and driving, your subconscious mind was actually at the controls and got you home safe. When this happens, you're in a naturally occurring state of hypnosis. Very normal, happens all the time. Another naturally occurring state of hypnosis happens when you're watching a movie and you begin feeling the feelings of the actor. It may be you feel like fighting during a fighting scene, and before you realize it, maybe you find your body's jerking in rhythm with the punches being thrown. Or maybe you've cried as if the tragedy just happened to you or someone you care about. You know it's just a movie, but the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. It believes these things were happening to you, and emotions were generated. Another interesting thing happens in very deep levels of hypnosis, analgesia or anesthesia. Analgesia is a blockage of pain. When you're experiencing it, you'll still be able to feel like pressure but no pain. Anesthesia is a complete blockage of all sensation. I bet you can remember a time when you saw a bruise or a scratch on yourself and didn't have any idea when it happened or where. How did that happen? You see, you were just so focused on something, and as you focused on it, you went into a naturally occurring state of hypnosis, and then what happened is you got injured and you didn't even feel it. Hypnotic anesthesia and analgesia is a normal, naturally occurring state in human beings. Here's another really fun example of naturally occurring hypnosis. In one of the deepest levels of hypnosis, deepest levels, you can experience hallucinations. Hallucinations happen naturally to people all the time. I'll bet you could remember when a friend or family member smelled a smell or felt a feeling or even saw something that wasn't there. For example, have you ever thought for sure that you saw your purse or your keys on the sofa when you were getting ready maybe to go somewhere, and then you went to get your purse or your keys and they weren't there? What'd you say? But I just saw it. There are also negative hallucinations. That's when you don't hear or you don't see or you can't taste something that does exist. For instance, have you ever went looking for something and couldn't see it even when it was right in front of your eyes? You can know when a person experiences negative hallucinations because they often say, if it had been a snake, it would have bit me. We're almost finished, but most people are surprised to find that because of its effectiveness, hypnosis is allowed to be used in a court of law in various ways. Also, hypnosis is safe. When you go into hypnosis, you're conscious. You're never going to pass out or black out or be unconscious. Your hypnotist will usually have you focus on something like relaxation while inducing you into hypnosis, and most people are very relaxed while in hypnosis. And no matter how deeply you go into hypnosis, you're always going to be able to protect yourself and know what's going on. If ever the hypnotist says something you don't like, you will automatically reject it. And if there's something you really, really don't like, you always have the ability to speak up and even get up out of the chair and leave. Now, hypnosis is safe and has been accepted by the American Medical Association since 1958. Medical professionals, as well as other kinds of professionals, use hypnosis for all kinds of things, from anesthesia to changing habits and behaviors, to overcoming sadness, to sports improvement, to overcoming anger, guilt, fear, for losing weight, for stopping smoking, even when taking care of psychosomatic illness and more. Hypnosis is a state you go into upon your approval. It's something that you give your permission for the hypnotist to do with you. Your hypnotist will be acting as a coach or a teacher. Your hypnotist will give you very easy instructions such as imagining or relaxing, and as you follow the instructions, you'll enter into this wonderful aware and focused state of hypnosis. Now, please remember this last part. Hypnosis isn't a feeling. It's not a feeling. So make sure you allow your professionally trained hypnotist to determine when and how deeply you're hypnotized. Do keep in mind that feelings of relaxation, tingling, or a pleasant heavy feeling can occur as you relax. Anyone of normal intelligence who's willing to follow instructions will get wonderful benefits from their sessions. We used to think that only 20% of the population could be hypnotized. Some hypnotists, even some doctors and psychologists who do not keep up with modern developments in the field, are still giving out this old information. But what hypnotists have found out, hypnotists who do nothing but study hypnosis as a career day in and day out, have learned that anyone of normal intelligence who's willing to follow instructions can experience hypnosis and make all the changes that he or she wants to make. Well, that's about it for now. And I hope if you have any questions, you'll be sure to ask your hypnotist. In a moment, he or she will be walking in. Hypnotists are trained to answer questions and are very happy to do so. Enjoy your session once again. I'm Celeste Hackett with Family First Hypnosis in Dallas, Texas.